So I wanted to do a little video and just show you how Zoe, how her manners of she actually has manners now, and she can stand tied in the barn and get groomed and have her feet handled and also be saddled. This was the first time that I saddled her in the barn, second time that I've saddled her. I like to cross my T's and dot my I's with horses. And, you know, with Zoe, there's not really been a rush because she gets very tense when she's uncomfortable. And so we want to alleviate as much as that tension as possible. And the best way to do that is to just, go at her pace. Every horse is different. They all have a different timeline. It doesn't always line up with where we are at as handlers and riders. But when you pay attention to your horse, can read your horse, and you go by their timeline, you get a much more solid horse. Too many people don't know how to read their horse, and therefore we create a lot of problems ourselves if we cannot understand what they are trying to tell us. So Zoe isn't really necessarily afraid of anything. She is a pretty bold little girl. But the thing that I look for the most, like I said, is just I want to make sure there's no tension in that neck, and I want to make sure that she is truly comfortable. I like to see a lot of releasing from her, and it used to be an act of God to get her to give me a release, and now she's gotten to where she's really given me a lot more, and she's very comfortable with me. She's not always comfortable with other people in new situations, so we're trying to get her out and about and just expose her to any and everything, as I do with all my horses. That's why all of my horses are so solid and people like to ride them. So it took a lot of work to get her where she's at with her feet. It was not easy, but she has come such a long way, and now she lets me handle them and pick them out. Sometimes she can still, like this next one on the rear on this side, she's gonna kind of be a little hesitant on, and I just work through it with her. And you'll notice I'm just gentle with her. There's no reason to be mean about it. She just isn't a seasoned horse yet, so we have to give her a little bit of grace on that. And it's better to give grace and have her okay with that than be mean about it and rough and just cause her to tense up and react to that in the wrong way. So this is going to be the second time that I've saddled her. First time in the barn being tied. I unfortunately she's tiny, and a lot of my tack is for horses that need to go to the big and tall store. So that has been the biggest challenge for me with working with a couple of smaller horses. So I've tried to do the best I can and see if I can find things that can fit for her, and I managed to find a pony cinch to use with her, so that helps a little bit, and we're going to start saddling a lot more now. But yeah, she is tiny. She is just so petite. her and Callie was too, so When I start young horses, I don't tighten the cinch super tight at first. I leave it just enough to keep the saddle on, and then midway through our session I tighten it a little bit more. You never want to make a young horse cinchy. But also too, I'm not going to react to her moving her feet a little bit. If she needs to move that around right now, since this is literally the second time she's been saddled, I'm okay with that. We'll work through it and refine it as we need to. But like I said, it's better for her to move her feet and express herself than to make her hate wearing a saddle.